Okay, what do you want for tea? Do you know what? I can't do it. I can't cook today. Let's get a takeaway. Okay, look, I can be bothered. With these guests, I can be bothered. So what do you fancy? You've got Chinese, Indian, Italian, maybe some pizza, some pasta, good old British fish and chips. We're talking about the nation's favourite foods to take home in a plastic tub, only we're going to make them from home, and I've got just the boys for the job. Bosh is a duo of British vegan chefs from Sheffield, consisting of Henry Firth and Ian Thiesby. They host a successful vegan cooking channel on YouTube and the ITV1 television programme Living on the Veg, which is almost as good as ITV2. Almost. And their 2018 Bosh cookbook became the first vegan cookbook to top the Sunday Times bestsellers chart. And it's among the top 50 best-selling UK cookbooks of all time. They can count their fans in the millions, and they are a great example of how to do social media right, which I fear I never will. The media part I'm okay with. Anyway, Henry and Ian, welcome.
Now then, Jake, how's it going?
Thank you very much for having us on.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you two are absolute demigods in the vegan food world. And I'm being a little preemptive, I think, but happy 5th birthday?
That's right. That's what's coming up. Yeah, it's going to be our 5th birthday, which is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, it's wild. Honestly, the last 5 years have completely flown by. It doesn't seem 2 minutes ago since we were stood in Henry's old flat knocking together some our first vegan videos in a very odd setting.
Yeah. It's like the hottest day of the year.
Oh, really?
And the hottest weekend of the year.
Yeah, and the phone was ringing.
Sorry about this.
That's all right.
That's so annoying.
Don't worry. Are you just playing in sound effects now? Come on. What next? The parrot?
Yeah, exactly. We're just pretending we've got a busy home. Look, we've shut the door.
It gave me a chance to look at your bookshelf, and you've got like color-graded books. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a little bit of OCD going on, and we've just moved. And you know how when you just move, you want to make everything perfect.
Oh yeah.
I devoted about a day to that bookshelf and putting all the books in rough colour order.
Well, if you like the bookshelf, you'd love the spice cabinet.
Oh, come on! I might need to see your spice cabinet.
Yes. Have we got a photo?
I've got a picture I can show you if you like.
Yeah, go on, show. This is like most people. It's like their camera. Dog or their child. You're like, have a look at my spice rack. You've got to see my spice.
For us, it is the spice cabinet. Absolutely. I mean, you'd expect nothing less. So it's alphabeticized square jars. All the spices you could ever need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've come to the decision that if a recipe needs a spice that isn't in that drawer, we're not going to make it.
Absolutely.
Because that is such a comprehensive spice box. Yeah.
That's all the spices that one should have.
Exactly.
Exactly. I like, your recipes are all about kind of being accessible to people and stuff. So if it's, rare Himalayan mountain thyme, it's the only kind of thyme you could. You're looking at your alphabetized spices there. One of the supermarkets, they just sort of, if it was like a jar of oregano, there's just a massive O on the front of it. Or if it was, parsley, it'd be a massive P. I'm asking you now, have you ever rearranged any of those herbs and spices to make rude words in the shopping aisle?
Oh, what a good idea.
Have you ever done that?
I mean,
You've never done that,
but
neither have I.
Like, we would definitely.
We could reorganise the basil, oregano, sage, and mixed herbs to make Bosh.
Yes,
harissa.
We'll be doing that next time we're in said supermarket.
That's good. When you went B&O, I was worried you were going to go with like a couple of times and then yarrow or something. Anyway, if anybody does do that, do send us a picture. We'd love to see it. We've got a new Instagram.
I mean, people will just write "go vegan," won't they? They'll just write "go vegan."
Yeah.
Spices.
That could be.
Is there a spice that begins with a V though?
Valerian.
Violet. Would that?
Yeah, maybe. It's probably an edible.
Like dried violet.
Yeah. Anyway, it's at veganlife_podcast. We'd love to see some picture. Every old rude words.
Yes.
Oh dear. What have I done? Well, that's lowered the tone. We were talking about your 5th birthday. How are you celebrating?
Yes, we were.
So we are going to be, first of all, having a few glasses of bubbles.
Yes.
That's going to be a really important thing for ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
And just giving ourselves a proverbial high five.
Mm-hmm. A big slap-up vegan meal, absolutely no doubt. I think we might as well go to town and, just have the full works, just go all out. And hopefully, now that we're allowed to socialise with a few people, maybe we can pull a few people into the house as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely. We're going to have a load of videos to celebrate the fact that it's our 5th birthday as well, so that we can get our audience involved. And this is really cool. So we're doing cakes.
Yeah.
You can buy our cakes in supermarkets already, which is a great thing. And we're going to have a special 5th birthday cake that we're going to put together. We haven't quite worked out the logistics of it yet, but there's definitely going to be absolutely fantastic 5th birthday cake happening.
After that, we'll probably kick off in our 5th year with a brand new form of content, which is super exciting.
Yes, and there'll be much more to come as well, which we'll be announcing closer to the time.
Finally, it's the Bosh Boys OnlyFans page. It's what everyone's been waiting for.
Oh my goodness!
What do you though? You were saying you'd have a big. You were saying you'd have a big celebration meal. What to you is the ultimate vegan celebration meal?
I feel like it depends on the season and it depends on the mood, right? Because sometimes it would be a slap up Christmas dinner with the Bosh mushroom Wellington, which is enjoyed by thousands of vegans every Christmas and their meat eating buddies too, and family members. So I think a big roast dinner would be a great example. But sometimes I prefer something a bit more like a dim sum or a kind of Chinese takeaway, Asian style little dipping plates where everybody can share.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I echo Henry's sentiments with the roast dinner because it's just a wonderful way to get loads of people around, and also it's not that much work. All you need to do is just do really good timing. But I think we might just go off-piste and maybe have the starter of maybe pulled oyster mushrooms wrapped up with hoisin sauce, spring onions, cucumber in nice Chinese pancakes. Because that sounds amazing. The one.
That sounds incredible.
Oh yeah.
But do you know what? Weirdly for me, my absolute dream go-to meal, because it's still really hard to come by, is really good vegan fish and chips.
Oh yes.
It's not a group meal where you sit around and celebrate. It's more of a kind of solitary sad meal where you sit in front of the telly.
Now you're talking.
You're having a guilty pleasure.
Finally, something I can identify with.
Done well.
Yes,
it's a treat.
All of which dovetails very well into the theme of today's podcast, which is Fakeaway, fake takeaway food. Now, I made my first ever sweet and sour seitan balls last week, so I'm very excited for this episode to be reverse engineering some more takeaway food alchemy with you. As always, people have been writing in with their questions. You can too. It's podcast@veganlifemag.com, and we'll field your question to the best person to answer it in due course. But let's kick off with Charlotte's question, who says, hey, Vegan Life. Hey, my question is, can I have a samosa recipe, and is it difficult to create the shape? That's a great question. Samosas, they feel like one of those kind of magic foods that just arrives.
Samosas come in many different forms. Like, obviously they're triangular, but you could use them, like some of them, when you go to like an Indian takeaway and you've got it on a chana, and it's like, it feels heavy and it feels crunchy and it's got lovely potato and stuff inside. Usually what you do with that is you take your pastry and you'd sort of turn it into a cone, fill it with the stuff that you want to fill it with, squash the ends, and then deep fry it.
Yes.
Which is maybe not the healthiest thing, but absolutely the tastiest.
And is that giving you almost like a pyramid shape?
Yeah, like a big fat, like really well packed samosa, delicious. And then you could probably go with, you could use it with like a thinner pastry as well, where you like sort of pop the filling right in the corner of the square that you make and sort of fold it round until you've got a really nice triangular shape.
But then I guess the other thing that you can do if you want to practice is rather than making the samosa with pastry, which can be a little bit fiddly, we have got a recipe for a burrito samosa, which is a classic Bosh ridiculous combination of two recipes. It just sounds cool, but it also tastes amazing. And for that, we use a flour tortilla. and we wrap it into a samosa shape with burrito ingredients. So you've got that kind of, the rice, you've got the fiery salsa, and you've got the beans in there as well. And that would give you the practice in getting that triangular shape before you take it down to the proper samosa level.
Yeah.
I'm always happy with foods that need practice because it just means you make more food. It sounds stupid. Do you need to arrange the food in a triangle shape, or is it in a ball, but the way you fold it? I don't know. What shape do you start? Yeah. What shape of pastry do you start with? Is it a circle? Do you cut a triangle?
It's a square typically. Yeah, it would typically be a square, and then you're going to get a little ball of filling, pop that in there, and kind of wrap it around.
Yeah, but if you want to go for the conical shape one, then probably the best way to do it is to take a circle of pastry, cut it right from the middle, so you have like a slit, and then you sort of manipulate it around into the shape of an ice cream cone.
Gotcha.
Fill it up, and then sort of squish the top, and then that is I think that's probably the more traditional, the more unhealthy but extremely tasty version.
Charlotte, however they come out, will you send us a picture? I would love to see that. Good. Yeah. Dave says, everyone is going absolutely mental for these air fryers. I want to know if they're worth the hype or just a gimmick. Do you guys have one?
We do have an air fryer, Jake, and you know what? We really like it. So we were doing a load of lives through lockdown. Remember when everybody just discovered that live was a kind of alternative for meeting people in person, and everyone was going live on Instagram at 6 p.m. every day. Well, so were we. So we cooked recipes live every single night of the week, and cooking things in the air fryer became a test that we did almost daily. So we'd make the recipe, but we'd also say, does it air fry? Give it a try. The audience loved it, and I think it is a really interesting thing for people to watch because, first of all, it's an alternative method of cooking. Secondly, it's something new. People like new technology. And thirdly, it is a little bit healthier. Yeah. So we would recommend, if you can afford it, getting an air fryer. Yeah. It's a great way to cook chips. Yeah, you could make those samosas in there. We actually had some of Biff's wings, his jackfruit wings, Biff's Jack Shack.
Oh, wow.
He brought around a load of frozen wings that we had in our freezer for a long, long time. They cook great in an air fryer. Yeah. You can make bread in an air fryer. You basically make anything in an air fryer.
It's a fantastic piece of kit. And one of the best things about it is that it doesn't make your house smell like a chip shop.
Yeah.
Because, say if you were frying chips at home and you've got the oil just kind of evaporating into the air, it just it clings to everything. And the air fryer just is a lot cleaner way to cook.
Yeah, and it uses less oil, so it's healthier. But also you can use it with no oil, and then it's just a really fast convection oven that's kind of small. So yeah, definitely worth getting one if you can afford it.
I think they're like 40, 50 quid, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to get? What we haven't got, Jake, is a two-tiered one. That then you got kind of two separate little baskets to cook in. So you can have your vegan chicken wings on the bottom basket and then your vegan chips in the middle basket, in the top basket, and you've got two things cooking at once.
And Colonel, eat your heart out, mate.
I mean, that's verging on just becoming an oven.
Yeah,
because it's the form factor. A lot of the time, I think it's not necessarily the money; it's just like the real estate in your kitchen, and whether you've got any more worktop space for it. But I have got one, and I do love it. And I feel like it's got to be slightly greener. Like if you're not heating up that much food, it's so much smaller a space you're heating up than a massive oven. If you're just doing a couple of spring rolls or something, like an air fryer is a great thing for that.
So what do you cook in there, Jake?
I do I do things like tofu. Like if I want to kind of crisp up some tofu and stuff, I've got some little spritzy oil things, and I'll just kind of crumble it into the basket and just let it do its thing. It's a bit quicker than an oven, and it's
very good tip.
Quick tofu nuggets. We need to try that.
Yeah, let's do them. You'll be seeing a
Bosh video.
Bosh video coming really soon.
Be honest.
I'll give you a shout out.
Martha says, thoroughly enjoy the podcast. Oh, thanks. I really need a good recipe for vegan paneer. My housemate is Indian, and I've basically forced her into being vegan with me so we can cook together. So it would be great if I could cook her some vegan paneer. My other housemate, who I'm also forcing to be vegan, is half Italian. We're always recruiting, is half Italian. Yeah. So I will definitely be making her some of the recipes from the Italian episode. P.S. I also hate tempeh and will never be persuaded otherwise. We should just touch on, where do you stand on tempeh?
I would say that tempeh is the better tasting, easier to cook with, more evolved version of tofu.
Yeah.
I love tempeh. I love the firmness of it. I love the kind of slightly more earthy, nutty flavor that it's got. I think it performs better in something like a stir fry because it doesn't break apart in the pan. I look forward to the day when tempeh is everywhere in the UK.
And it's exceptionally healthy, that stuff as well, isn't it? It's really, really good for your sort of like gut. And tempeh is great. But to answer the question on vegan paneer,
just thanks for your time and goodbye. I'm kidding. I get you. What? Tempeh is like the worst thing.
Oh, you don't like tempeh? I see.
I cannot.
We've done something bad here.
No. Well, yes, you have. Because tempeh, oh man, I can't. How do you cook tempeh then? What makes it good?
Okay, so you might be not cooking it in the right way if you're not liking it, Jake.
Oh,
honestly.
it's my fault.
The key thing that people get wrong is you've got to give it either a blanch in boiling water or a steam before you hit it with flavour and before it hits a pan. So a great way to cook tempeh would be, in fact, we have a recipe where we'll do it over the top of a pan cooking something else, like rice, for example. But we will steam the tempeh for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we will toss that tempeh in a delicious glaze. So maybe it's like a hoisin glaze, or maybe it's like a kind of stir fry sauce
to take the taste
maybe
away.
We'll add some kind of tamari to some maple syrup, etc. And then we will fry that in some hot oil.
Yeah.
And that first blanch lets the tempeh take in all of that flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, you need to give it another whirl. It's really good. We've also got a recipe on our website for tagliatelle tempeh.
Oh yes.
So check that one out. It sort of masks any kind of bitterness that tempeh might have.
Okay, all right. So we accept that it doesn't taste very nice, and we're masking its flavour. Why are you eating things that you need to mask the flavour of?
Well, I mean,
I love the flavour of tempeh on its own. I like the little nuttiness.
And to be fair, most meat eaters do that, don't they?
Yeah.
With all the meat.
The one thing I'll say about tempeh is if you see how it's made, it's weird.
Yes. God, yes.
It's dark.
Yeah, fermenting beans.
It's dark. Yeah. It's mould. It's dark. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm so sorry. You were about to talk about paneer, and I went off on my
paneer. That's right.
On my tempeh.
So we've got We've written a couple of recipes for vegan cheeses. Like, obviously, there's loads of fantastic vegan cheese alternatives now in supermarkets. But if you want to make your own, we think the best way to do that is with tofu. And if you want to make vegan paneer, what you do is press your firm tofu, chop it into cubes like you would ordinarily find paneer. It's like, if you think about paneer, it's usually in a cubed form.
Like a 1 inch cube or something.
Yeah, exactly.
1 centimetre.
Yeah, and you can use the technique that we're about to describe to make halloumi as well. But with the halloumi, you just chop it like almost like slices, like you would have a halloumi salad or whatever. But anyway, with this, what you do is a little bit of olive oil, some nutritional yeast, some white miso paste, some salt, and maybe just a touch of pepper, and definitely a little bit of lemon. And then what you do, you pop that on a baking tray and pop it in the oven for around about 20 minutes. All the moisture from the tofu will evaporate out. It will firm up naturally. And what you'll be left with is that really nice rubbery texture with that cheesy note. So that's a really good way to replicate paneer and halloumi.
Could you put a pinch of turmeric in there for just a tiny pinch?
Yes.
For just a touch of that yellowy,
Just
tiny nudge of the
touch.
colour.
That's it.
I would also, in a previous episode, one of the contributors told me that you can brown vegan butters, some of them.
Oh,
which might be a good
nice touch.
Substitute for ghee if you're missing ghee in your Indian recipes.
Okay, I see.
Well, we'll have to test that.
We've not
tried that out.
Yeah. You should listen
I
to
guess
the
it depends
podcast.
on the
It's very
vegan
good.
butter, doesn't it? Because some of them are quite variable.
I bet you'd have to use a block, because the other stuff tends to separate because it's just loads of oils.
Yeah.
You have to use a block.
Yeah, great idea.
You have to use a block, and if it's one that comes in a black wrapper, I've heard that's the one you want.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yes.
The may or may not be some of that.
We love that one.
We all
Best
love
one for croissants as
Yeah,
well.
but that's the champagne of. I can't do that every day.
it's the
I
sugar.
can't afford that every day. Anyway, enough of that. Look, we've touched on tempeh, and I'm sorry for my fury, my undisguised contempt for tempeh. But it's now time to move on from that to my absolute favourite and ask you.
What do you do? What do you do with tofu?
Man, that That's such a good question.
So obviously there's two types of tofu. You've got your firm and you've got your silken. And the recipe that I'll describe to you is one that uses both. We actually developed a technique. It's called the two tofu technique, and it's to make scrambled eggs. So what you do is like melt a little bit of vegan butter in a pan with some garlic and some spring onions and a little bit of turmeric and some kala namak, which is Indian black salt. It's really like a sulfuric kind of smell. Lovely. And then you get your silken tofu, you blend it, and then you pour it in there to stain it, and then you crumble in your firm tofu, and then you fold it through, and then what you're left with is something that has the same texture as scrambled egg, really good flavour, really great colour, packed full of protein, and super quick. So that's one way that you can use both types of tofu in one dish.
I love that.
Yeah, and look, I mean, everyone knows how to put tofu in a stir fry, so I'm not even going to mention that, although we would do that on a regular basis in this house. But my favourite thing to do with tofu is what I alluded to before, which is to make vegan fish and chips.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and we'll do it from time to time. And people obviously know how to do that. I won't go into lengthy details, but the little secret trick that we have is to actually freeze your tofu and potentially freeze your tofu in a tasty brine that already has the kind of fishy flavors in it, and then let it defrost before you go about actually frying it, battering it and frying it, because that freezing it is going to actually kind of break apart the tofu, create these little fissures inside it, which will make it more flaky and more vegan fish and chip like.
It's absolutely delicious. It is. It's well worth doing the freezing technique.
Absolutely.
Really
But marinating it before you freeze it, I've never done that. That's a top tip.
Yes.
You know, I feel like I could change this question from what do you do with tofu to how do you do a tofu scramble, because everybody's is different and it's fascinating to me. I absolutely love hearing about it. Okay, let's get back to the questions on Fakeaways. Don't forget, you can always email us. It's podcast@veganlifemag.com. We'll save your question for the perfect person to put it to. Jesse says, I've recently got a veg box subscription, and I've been getting a lot of butternut squash.
Lucky girl.
Yeah, well, yeah. Can I have a yummy recipe for this? Thank you.
Where would you start with butternut squash?
I mean, first of all, lucky you, and well done for getting the veg box. I think that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, wicked.
Me and my fiancée MJ have been thinking about getting a veg box because we love the
You're
idea.
not ready for that commitment.
However, you know what? It's really difficult to do because our kitchen always ends up getting filled with food that we're cooking for Bosh recipes that we're testing, so we don't have that privilege.
No. Yeah. But great question. And butternut squash is an interesting vegetable, because if you're not that well versed in cooking with it, it can be quite daunting because it's so big and so hard, and you need a good sharp knife. But what a really good way is just to get the maximum and easy flavour out of it is just to get it, peel it. Well, you don't even need to peel it. You just need to quarter it into wedges, and then a little bit of take out all the pips, olive oil, salt over the top of it, roast it for 30 minutes, and what you've got is just something you can just tuck into like that. But if you want a proper recipe, you can actually use a squash and turn it into a really healthy carbonara. You just need to roast off the butternut squash itself, and then blend it with some cashews, and then with some stock and a little bit of oil. Oh my god, so good!
Yes, oh man, that carbonara recipe is amazing. Yeah. Is it in our Bosh book?
That one's in Speedy.
It's in the Speedy Bosh cookbook, but you can find it online, I believe, on Bosh.tv. Yes. We've also got another one which is wicked, which uses squash as a layer of lasagna.
Oh yes.
So that is it's a rich and creamy lasagna. It's in Bosh cookbook number 1. It's probably on the website as well for free. Yeah. And we actually we kind of slice the squash and use it for a middle layer of lasagna,
which is way healthier.
Delicious.
Sounds amazing.
Is it healthy, lasagna?
Well, but I mean, I reckon butternut squash is probably going to be healthier than white pasta.
Okay, I see. But there's still a lot of white pasta in there.
Yeah. Sounds good, though.
It's good for the soul, healthy for the soul.
There you go, Jesse. Also, don't forget, don't throw away the seeds. Just stick them in a little pan with some oil and some salt. Roast them, and they are the most delicious snack afterwards. Lizzie says, I love this question. I want to know when Living on the Veg will be back for a second series. And also, would Ian like to go on a date with me? # worth a try. Oh, wait, sorry. That's not what you meant by wanting help or advice with a certain dish. Ian?
Well, you'll have to do the first part of that question.
With the
second part.
Well, okay, cool. So Thank you very much for asking me out. That's very kind of you. But I don't think my girlfriend Sarah would appreciate me going on a date with you. So, yeah.
There you go.
No.
Hashtag worth a try. Yeah. Sorry, Lizzie.
Yeah.
What was the other bit? I can't remember.
Are you
what was
going to
the
be
other
back for another series of Living on the Veg?
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Living on the Veg.
So look, Living on the Veg was amazing. Thanks for the question. Glad you enjoyed watching it. We enjoyed shooting it.
Big time.
We don't know if we're doing another one with ITV or not, but what we do know is we are working on a bigger project right now, which
It's the
we're
feature
super
film.
excited about.
I knew it.
Yeah, feature film, that's right.
Yeah.
Bosh the movie coming soon.
Exactly. We're working on something which we're super excited about, and maybe it'll come in 2022.
Fingers crossed.
You know, these things take a long time to put together, but yeah, we're working hard. Watch this space.
Yeah, but that's with the TV. But we said that for after the 5th birthday celebrations of all of the reruns of the classic content, we'll be going into a new stream of content, which I think is going to be as good as, if not better than, a TV shoot.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're basically taking our YouTube to the next level. So that'll be coming soon.
When actually is your 5th birthday?
June the 19th.
It is, yeah.
It's the celebration. It's the date that we posted our first video live on Facebook.
Yeah, mad.
And what was that?
Absolutely
What was
crazy.
that
5 years,
video?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Rattles by. That video was the sushi cake. So it's the healthy sushi cake, which is essentially like sushi ingredients, all vegan, obviously, no fish. And you just layer it up like a Victoria sponge and then decorate it beautifully with like edamame and what other bits and bobs. Spring onion was on the top of that. And yeah, it was kind of wacky. Also, it solved the problem because not everyone can find it that easy to roll sushi. So they might like sushi but not know how to make sushi. So if you whack it all in a cake, it's just way easier. So that went really viral and that sort of kicked us off in a really good footing.
Amazing. Sandy says, I have not found or tried a decent steak since going vegan. Can you recommend a brand, or I don't mind making it with marinade, etc.? Thanks. Loving the podcast.
Okay.
I tried the churros gnocchi
That's a really
and it
good
was
question.
triumph.
That's a good question.
It is hard, isn't it, Jake, to try and find a good vegan steak. We actually made a wicked one with the happy pear.
Yes, we did.
So that is like you're very much making a marinade and you're using vital wheat gluten, and essentially you're going to be spending quite a long time punching dough. So that's a really, really good recipe.
Yeah.
But as far as ones that you can buy, like I don't know how you are with naming brands. I guess this is a question that requires us to name a brand, but we quite like the Vivera version.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's one that we'll bring home a lot. And there's also, what's that seitan company called?
Mahit.
Yes.
Mahit.
Is that the one?
I think they definitely do a good one.
Yeah, I think it was them, yeah.
Who else is there? There's a few. These vegan companies are popping up all over the shop. It's amazing.
Yes, but those two are really good places to start. And if you are looking for a recipe for the pepper sauce or for a sauce to go with steak, oh my goodness. In Bish Bash Bosh, also probably on Bosh.tv, there is Henry's secret sauce. Maybe if you just Google Henry's secret sauce, you will find our legendary steak sauce recipe.
It's bloody good.
It's actually based on a sauce that they serve in Le Relais de Venise, Le Entrecôte, which is a steak restaurant we used to go to before we went vegan. This restaurant only served steak and chips, no menu, just steak and chips and a secret sauce. And we've kind of dissected the secret sauce, made a vegan version of it, filled with tarragon and butter and just incredible flavors. And that sauce will go perfectly with your steak.
So often
delicious.
It's about that, isn't it? One of the best ones I ever had is you can get, I don't know where and I don't know how, so I'm not being very useful, but it's like a sort of a TVP kind of product. It's like a bean curdy thing, and it looks like a Rivita or do you remember Cracker Bread? Is that what that brand was called? It was like a crisp bread thing, and it was like sort of that big.
Oh,
like
yes,
rectangular.
okay.
It looks like that, but it's made of soya. If you ever see these things, they're dry as a bone. Like you can whack them, but you sort of soak them, kind of like bean curd. Mm-hmm. You soak it, and it will just drink up any kind of marinade, like some soy sauce and bits and pieces and stuff.
Yes. Nice.
And then just kind of flash fry it, and it's got a nice kind of bite to it that's very steaky. But your sauce sounds epically good.
The sort, mark out my words, that sauce is delicious. It's been a while since I've made it. Maybe I have to make it.
Yes, absolutely. But if you are making that, you have to hunt out the fresh tarragon.
Yeah, it is so true.
But it's interesting you say that, Jake, because we've never been big into TVP. You know, we were always quite against it in our cooking because we felt it just felt a bit too old-fashioned for us.
Yeah.
But we've actually just started to experiment with it, and we're going to try and make TVP a new thing that we spend a lot of time with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful ingredient. It's just super cheap, it's packed full of protein, and you can whack loads of flavour in there.
Yes.
Like the thing that you just made.
Exactly. I've literally been cooking TVP already this morning, testing a recipe for our new book, Bosh on a Budget. And TVP is great because it is budget friendly.
Yeah, and it's got great shelf life as well. You know, it's brilliant for that.
Exactly.
Probably needs a rebrand though.
It does need a
just
rebrand.
like TVP. It's a bit textured vegetable protein. We need to come up with a better name. So maybe your listeners can drop us a DM if they've got a better name for TVP.
Yes, exactly.
Hyper sausage. That's my suggestion.
Whoa!
Mega meat.
Yeah. Vince.
Vince, perfect, yeah.
Gary. Yeah. Well, yeah, you had Gary, so why not Vince?
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of missed the whole Gary thing. Now I haven't.
Yeah, I missed the Gary thing as well.
I can't find the name attached to this. I'll see if I can dig it out. Someone wants suggestions for pizza toppings. I love corn, ham, and pineapple with Violife cheese and barbecue base. Okay, now I'm getting the sense in you. That's pretty freaky. No, I'm sorry, that's freaky.
Yeah.
That's out
people
there.
don't like pineapple.
I'm a prude when it comes to pizza toppings.
Okay.
But fruit and barbecue sauce, I mean, God. What do you guys go for?
It's a bit much, isn't it? Do you know what? I guess you can go a few ways, and we have got a pizza oven, so we will sometimes experiment with making proper pizza.
Yeah.
And if you want to be traditional, like if you find yourself in Italy, then, for them, pretty much it's just a margherita or a marinara. They're the only pizzas that they really consider to be pizzas. Delicious. Every pizza place will just do margherita and a marinara. And the nice thing about the marinara, which is just tomato sauce and garlic, is it's always vegan. So if you find yourself stuck in Italy looking for pizza, get a marinara pizza, you'd be good. So that's a proper simple way, but I do like a little bit more. So I'd be tempted to take that kind of marinara base with the garlic and add some sliced Roquito peppers on top, and then some caramelized red onions as well, draped around. Maybe a little bit of a good vegan sausage.
Yeah.
And if I fancy it,
Hyper sausage
a bit of vegan cheese as well.
Yeah. Hyper sausage or just plain
Hyper sausage.
Sausage. That's
we
it.
definitely go for the hyper sausage. Or Gary.
Yeah, or Gary.
Yeah.
For me, if we're talking about vegan pizza, I think we should tip our hats to Perezza, because they do some of the single best vegan pizzas you're going to lay your. And also, in the same vein, what's that restaurant that we went to in Los Angeles?
Double Zero.
Oh my goodness. There's two vegan pizzerias that just prove that you do not need like meat or cheese, real meat or cheese to make a wonderful pizza. Yeah. What they do really nicely, Perezza, is they crumble this smoked tofu, which is delicious. And also they've got like this pesto one. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Pesto on anything.
Yes.
But pesto on pizza, amazing.
Do you know what you just reminded me of? We will go off on a tangent, Jake, when you ask us about pizza.
Tange away.
But we made in our first cookbook, we made, because we always liked to dip our pizza in hummus. And in our first cookbook, which we wrote about 4.5 years ago, we made a pizza called, it was either called the Middle East pizza or it was called the meze pizza.
I think it was meze.
The meze pizza. Yeah. And it essentially had a kind of tomato base. You then had the roasted peppers on top, maybe a little bit of chili sauce, and dollops of hummus on there as well. And what we found really pleasing to see was when Pizza Express launched an homage to meze pizza.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they copied us, but it was definitely a coincidence.
But a decent coincidence. But talking about hummus on pizza, like, I don't know why most pizzerias just don't serve little pots of hummus. Like,
absolutely.
Like they could. The upsell on that is amazing, because people just love dipping their pizza in, and hummus is the perfect thing.
Yeah. I mean, isn't the origin of pizza is pida, isn't it? Which it was a Middle Eastern kind of a thing, right?
Right,
Turkish
exactly.
Yeah.
And but also, I guess we talk about this a lot when we're cooking. All foods have shared origins, right? If you look at spaghetti in America, they'll call it spaghetti noodles, and it is kind of derived from. It was brought to Italy from China, where it was essentially the noodles that they'll eat over there, and now it's an Italian dish. So yeah, all dishes have a common origin, and it does seem that everybody has a kind of pizza-like thing, whether it's a lamacun or a pide.
Ours would be like a Cornish pasty.
Ours would be toast.
or cheese on toast.
It is cheese on toast, isn't it? pineapple on pizza, yes or no? I just need to know.
I'm okay with it. I would probably add. I'd add a few other bits, but I'm okay with it.
I'm all right with it as well because it's a little bit of sweetness and it's got that tang and it's a bit fresh. I quite like it.
But I respect people who hate it as well.
I'm not okay with it. Thank you for your respect. I don't really deserve any respect, so thank you. I hope those ideas help you guys out. And that's it. We've come to the end of the line. I can't thank you guys enough. It's really exciting having heavyweights like you in the world of vegan food on the podcast.
To be honestly, it's a real pleasure. Obviously over the course of lockdown, we were doing a lot of our own content, but we haven't done that much media for a little while. So it's fantastic to be back on the road. We've got that new book dropping real soon, and it's really a pleasure chatting to you.
Yes, and also it's nice to hear your culinary tips as well. You're obviously well versed in vegan cooking yourself, which is always good.
I've eaten a lot of tofu in my time. So yes, Bosh on budget.
So you did the Elvis thing, right? You were trying to eat as much as possible and prove that you could eat loads of vegan food
and still look terrible.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, because you get so many people on social media saying, "Guys, I've gone vegan and look at my skin. I look amazing. I've lost 15 pounds." And it's like, no. Chips and hummus, that will get you. That's your route one veganism, and I can take you to the
just
absolute
pasta. Back to back pasta.
Yeah.
Well, we loved that when it came out, so very cool. Good to meet you.
Elvis's favourite food apparently was a deep fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. Perfect vegan food, right? Wow. Perfect.
Maybe we should make a video.
Should we try that?
Yeah. Deep fried peanut butter banana sandwich.
It worked for Elvis.
Yeah. Well, when you say it worked for him, it killed him. But yeah, sure. Your new book, Bosh on a Budget, is coming out 9th of December, right?
That's right, yes.
People just need to type Bosh into anywhere and you're going to pop up, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you can. If you want to sort of put a pre-order on that, then fantastic. Obviously, you can go to Amazon. But I think it's really important that we all try and support our local bookshops where possible. So if indeed you can nip into a local bookshop in a town, and if they've got it on their list of books that are coming up, you can pre-order it there, then you'll be doing not only getting a great book, but also helping out your local community with these independent retailers that need every ounce of help that we can give them right now.
Yeah, but I guess over and above that, Ian and I, we went vegan. We went vegan 6 years ago. We set up Bosh 5 years ago. It's a passion project. It's our life's purpose, and we'll be continuing to put recipes out for free on Bosh.tv, our website, or on Bosh.tv on all the socials. So even if you don't want to grab a book, you can just stay tuned to Bosh, and you'll get free recipes for as long as Ian and I can keep going.
Yes.
Which I think we've got a few years in us left.
Exactly. We're eating vegan food, so we can go forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And do remember, if you do pick up their new book, just put it on the right bookshelf according to colour, please. Don't disrupt it.
Yes, exactly.
Always.
Henry, Ian, it's been an absolute delight. Thank you both so much.
Thank you, man.
And that's it. Weren't they an absolute delight? Don't forget, you can always email us your questions about plant-based cookery to podcast@veganlifemag.com. And veganlifemag.com is where you can pick up a subscription to Vegan Life magazine, which is also available on sale in all good shops. It's just a bit cheaper if you subscribe online. There's also an app if you do the whole app thing, but look, I'm not going to lie. I haven't done it yet. I should do it. I will do it. I'm going to do that right now. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to do. We'll be back with another episode in due course. In the meantime, from me, Jake Yapp, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to share and spread the word about the podcast so we can keep it going. And I'll see you soon. From me, bye-bye. This has been a Swanburst Media production.